come, but I think that's because he's just so focused on the job in hand that nothing will get in the way. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's moments that he'll bite my head off.
Did test positive for a banned substance. What was your reaction to that and thoughts?
It's disgraceful, you know, it's turned the boxing world upside down. It brings a negative light on boxing. It's, you know, to see that happen, you know, with Conor Benn, I also, you know, we need some explanations. We need.
He's extremely stubborn. So he knows deep down, unless he's just a complete idiot, that
Conor Benn wife's first words after Ben got arrested by police. That's not just support, it's a shield. She's standing like a wall, but let's be honest, no amount of family backing can erase the cloud over Ben's name. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't need anyone to defend him. His clean record speaks louder.
It will back him no matter what he decides. However, we will steer him away from being a fighter.
For Eddie Hearn to publicly brand Conor Benn a disgrace is humiliation at the highest level. Imagine your own promoter exposing you as too weak to face cameras, too tainted to handle money, too ashamed to even show up. Ben looks broken. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. relishes the stage, carrying himself with pride, class, and the aura of a true star.
it's a disgrace. The guy, firstly, the guy is not well. Secondly, the guy really should be here. But the fact that he's not involved, the fact that he couldn't take any money, the fact that he couldn't be involved in any decisions, stand in front of the cameras, is making him sick as a parrot.
The spotlight then shifted towards the board's stance, and things only sank deeper for Ben. Even Eddie Hearn, with all his clout, can't shield Ben from this mess. When the British Boxing Board of Control refuses to sanction, it screams volumes. A fighter under suspicion, tied up in lawyers, and drowning in controversy. On the other hand, Chris Eubank Jr. stands untouched, ready to fight under any spotlight, anywhere, anytime.
What their statement is actually saying is that we're not sanctioning this fight. There's ongoing conversations with the lawyers and the British Boxing Board of Control. Obviously, we want everyone to be comfortable. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. are aware of all the information.
Duke McKenzie doesn't mince words. Conor Benn handing back his license is nothing short of an admission of guilt. Caught twice says it all. A man stripped of credibility, begging for sympathy. While Ben drowns in excuses, Chris Eubank Jr. thrives in the ring, his license intact, his pride unbroken, and his reputation bulletproof.
He's done. Now, the fact that he's given back his license to the British Boxing Board of Control, who in my opinion are the best governing body in the world, bar none, it's kind of like a proof of admission, certainly. And for him to do what he's done, you know, they're talking about contamination, right? So if you've done it once, then you got caught out, then you do it again. It can't be contamination, can it? Because he's been caught twice for doing the same thing. So if it was me, take his license away.
Tony Bellew shuts the door firmly. No rematch, no second chances. Ben's fitness, stamina, even his mindset are all under doubt. That's the humiliation. A fighter once hyped as the future, now seen as unfit for the stage. Chris Eubank Jr., though, has already proven his engine, his grit, and his place under the brightest lights.
Not happened.
We don't know what stamina and what engine he's got in him. Really.
It's not about the stamina and the engine, it's more about the thought process and of gaining that experience of being there and doing it. Okay. It's like when you go into your first 12 rounder, no matter how fit you are.
Lee McAllister tried to soften the blow by saying he doesn't believe Ben would intentionally cheat, but let's be honest, that sympathy only adds to the humiliation. When people start feeling sorry for you instead of respecting you, your career has already taken a nosedive. McAllister's words reflect pity, not belief. The truth is simple, failed tests don't lie, and excuses won't change that. Ben was once marketed as the future of British boxing, a fighter who could carry the Ben name with pride. Now he's carrying nothing but shame. Contrast that with Chris Eubank Jr., who doesn't need anyone to defend him or sugarcoat his actions. His strength, his discipline, and his clean image speak louder than words. While Ben receives pity, Eubank Jr. commands respect. That's the brutal difference between scandal and honor.
Personally, I do not think that Conor Benn would have intentionally took steroids. And that's just my opinion. He's a young, fit, strong guy. I do not see why he would need to do that. And even moving up weight, I don't see why he would need to do that. He walks about it that way anyway. But for me, the key is, like I say, I feel sorry for Eddie Hearn.
The backlash didn't stop there. It got sharper with every new take. Johnny Nelson's reaction summed up the chaos surrounding Conor Benn. The confusion, the uncertainty, the immediate calls for an inquiry. It's exactly what happens when trust is broken. Once a fighter is caught in scandal, every word, every move, every test becomes questionable. Nelson's stumbling delivery reflects the shock, but also the disbelief that the sport has sunk to this level. Benn may have passed the UK, but the stain of his failed tests overshadows any technicality. Fans aren't buying it, pundits aren't buying it, and the sport suffers because of it. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't have to deal with inquiries, investigations, or doubts. He trains, he fights, he wins. That's what a professional does. Benn, on the other hand, has turned his career into a courtroom drama, and Nelson's words only underline how bad this has become.
There is going to be, there needs to be an inquiry straight after this, why, what. But that's what I'm hearing. This news is as fresh to me as it is you. I'm quite sure when this goes out, it'll be all over the place anyway. But all I can say is he passed the UK one.
Chris Eubank Jr. delivered his message with trademark calm confidence. Take the offer or leave it. He wins either way. That's the contrast that defines this rivalry. While Conor Benn is scrambling to defend his name in headlines and courtrooms, Eubank Jr. is focused on legacy, greatness, and moving forward regardless of Benn's chaos. It's humiliating for Benn that the man he was supposed to rival now doesn't even need him. Eubank Jr. is building his career, attracting fans, and commanding respect whether Benn shows up or not. Meanwhile, Benn's entire future hangs on whether he can even get licensed again. That's the reality. One man chasing greatness, the other stuck in scandal, and Eubank Jr. summed it up perfectly. Fight or no fight, he's destined for bigger things. Benn's relevance is hanging by a thread.
There's no message. The offer's been sent, and you either take it or leave it. And if you leave it, then I'm going to be great either way.
Is it done forever if this is a no this time?
I'm not going to say that. The fight's never done forever. As long as we're still breathing, the fight is going to be of interest to us and to the public.
Spencer Oliver and Simon Jordan cut through the noise with brutal honesty. No second chances. Fail a test, you're finished. That's the reality every clean fighter deserves, and it's a dagger straight into Conor Benn's career. Their stance exposes the weakness in Benn's defense. If you let him off, what message does that send to boxing? Benn's humiliation here is complete, his integrity shredded, his reputation hanging on excuses, and now the experts calling for a lifetime shutout. The sport has no room for cheats, no space for repeated failures, and no time for endless drama. On the flip side, Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't need loopholes or pity. His career is built on discipline, dedication, and respect for the sport. Oliver and Jordan's verdict is simple. Boxing deserves better than Benn, and Eubank Jr. is proof of that standard.
Yeah, listen, I've always been strong on that. I've always been strong on the fact that I don't believe in giving them a second chance.
You're basically saying, no 3 strikes and you're out.
No 3 strikes.
2 strikes and you're out. No. One, you fail a test and gone ski.
Absolutely, because I just believe then that moving forward, people would think twice about doing it. If they think, well, you know what, I'll get a second chance anyway, I might get...
Duke McKenzie's breakdown is a slap in the face for Conor Benn. To hear a respected figure say you're not a massive puncher and that you've mugged yourself off is humiliation beyond repair. Benn promised knockouts, swaggered like his father, but in reality, he was swinging wild, head down, throwing punches without aim or craft. That's not championship material. That's playground brawling. McKenzie cuts deeper by reminding everyone Benn is not his dad. That's the harshest truth of all. Nigel Benn built a legacy with raw power, grit, and respect. Conor has inherited the name but none of the glory. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr., the man Ben dared to disrespect, continues to showcase skill, composure, and a mindset forged for the big stage. Ben's humiliation lies in the comparison. His shots were reckless, his promises empty, while Eubank Jr. thrives as a disciplined professional. When legends of the game openly strip your credibility, your career's foundation is already crumbling.
His style, Conor Benn. Conor Benn's not a massive puncher, not even at welterweight, so really, he's kind of mugged himself off a little bit by saying, I'm going to knock this guy out. He didn't give Eubank enough respect. Like I say, he was throwing shots at several points in that fight, and he wasn't even looking where they were going. It was just like head down, just winging the shots over.
Adam Booth, ever the analytical trainer, points out the brutal reality. Ben simply didn't have it in him. His legs gone, his punches empty, his so-called size advantage wasted. It paints a pitiful picture of a fighter exposed under the lights. Yes, Booth gave him credit for showing balls, but let's be honest, heart without skill doesn't win championships. Throwing meaningless punches without snap or power is the textbook definition of being outclassed. Ben's failure wasn't just physical, it was tactical, it was mental, it was a collapse across the board. Booth's polite optimism about Ben being better second time is nothing more than a trainer's courtesy, but the truth is, once you've been stripped of aura, there is no second time. Meanwhile, Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't rely on hope or empty. Next time promises, he proves himself every time he steps in the ring. Booth's words highlight a glaring contrast. Ben clings to hypothetical improvement, while Eubank Jr. thrives on proven reality. That's the difference between excuses and greatness.
Box anymore because his legs weren't working. He was throwing a lot of shots, but nothing had any real power or snap because he didn't have it in him, and so he couldn't force his size advantage on Ben.
When Frank Warren speaks, the boxing world listens, and here his words hit like a final nail in Conor Benn's coffin. Warren dismisses the idea of Ben versus Eubank as a non-runner, calling the entire saga crazy. That's not just opinion, it's humiliation from one of the sport's most respected promoters. If Warren believes the fight could never go forward, then Ben's credibility isn't just in doubt, it's finished. The legal threats, the chaos with the board, the endless controversy, it all adds up to a career derailed by scandal. Fans see lawsuits instead of legacy, excuses instead of excellence. Contrast that with Chris Eubank Jr., who has never needed courts, hearings, or appeals to validate his career. He proves himself in the ring, under the lights, with nothing but gloves and skill. Warren's assessment paints the reality clear. Ben's future is tangled in drama, while Eubank Jr. marches forward with focus and respect. One man is crazy headlines, the other is real boxing.
You know, let the penny drop that the fight could never go forward. And some of the stuff that's come out since about people being, you know, the board being sued and something, and so forth, is just a non-runner. It's crazy.
So here we are. The dust has settled and the truth is laid bare. Conor Benn's story has turned from promise to scandal, his reputation battered, his career clinging to scraps of sympathy. Every failed test, every excuse, every word of defense only deepens the humiliation. This isn't about proving innocence anymore, it's about survival. On the other side stands Chris Eubank Jr., the man who has carried himself with dignity, professionalism, and fire. If Eubank Jr. wins, his legacy takes another massive leap forward. He cements himself as the face of British boxing. If somehow Ben pulls off a miracle, it won't erase the stain, it'll only extend the debate. The question is, who is mentally stronger, who wants it more, and who truly deserves the spotlight? Are you backing Chris Eubank Jr.'s clean path to glory, or do you believe Conor Benn can shock the world? Drop your thoughts below.